My background in software and engineering actually came in the gaming space. So I was an avid gamer in high school. I get into the modification space. I was making gaming mods for Doom and Quake and those type of games, and really heavily involved in that scene in college. And that's actually what got me into my first startup, which was a company called GameSpy, and getting into the business of actually making infrastructure for games. The ability to deploy and manage applications as containers, so different than how we did things back in the day, right? The idea that we used to build physical infrastructure, we built physical servers, storage, networking, we would install applications, we would write our code and deploy it on a specific configuration. And if that physical server went down, you're like literally rebuilding a physical box. And what has happened with virtualization, with cloud, and now with containerization, the entire model for deploying and managing applications is completely different, and it's so much easier than it used to be.
I think my first application was built in BASIC, so that also alludes a bit to my age. Yeah, built in DOS, and I don't think it did that much, but that was sort of my first programming experience. I am truly excited by the primitives and the standard that Docker has given us. Or containers in general. I think I like to compare it to some extent to the MP3. Like, we now have this standard, and there's basically now the opportunity for a lot of ecosystems and companies to be built around that standard. And it's actually also reminds me of the early days of the internet. Like, we now have HTTP, which brings us HTTP servers, but also web browsers, and as such also the ability to build these sites with in-depth functionality. So it's truly exciting time to be part of this movement.
The first step was say, okay, I will make my life in computer and computer technologies was after my study. I made a first company in hydrogen storage with one of my teachers for 4 years. And after, when I made a new company about making a new social network, a monument of the web, kind of called Humankind Wall. So, I think technology is, computer technology follows the classic physics technology. So, in physics, every let's say 50 years or 20 years, we have a new era, like new energies, for example. And I think in the computer software right now, we have a new era of software. So just for example, on a stack, we had Docker that comes in really trendy, come to replace all ways to do to deploy software. And for APIs, we have a REST, and we have this new generation of technologies that begins to replace JSON, that begins to replace XML, for example, for 15 years. So I just think every 15 years we have a new era of technology, and this makes it exciting. We think we can make a better world, a better technology world, and this is the time.